30 seconds into the show, I pause the show and I'm like, I know what I'm doing. It's like, I'm going to run a workshop for teenagers, and it's going to teach these kids how to rap, box, self-reflect, and that's it. And that's just started like that. Our job as us being more educated, more knowledgeable. We have all this technology around. It's our job to face those things and break that cycle so that our next generation, our kids, will be able to be more aligned with their emotions, but also know when to be strong. If we're interested in something, they're going to show us the best version of that in a video. And we're going to be like, wow, like this guy, I just found him in 3.2 seconds and he's this amazing person, but they didn't see the 10 years they pulled beforehand to get to where they are today. So their confidence is already shot. Finding a purpose is not just what do you want to do for the rest of your life. It's more of like, are you doing things on purpose to match what it is that you want to do in your life?
Before we get into this episode, I just want to thank you for being here. I started this podcast to spark conversations that inspire, creatively, personally, and everything in between. So if you'd like to support that mission, the best way is to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're watching or listening to this. That'll help other creative minds discover us and also ensures that you won't miss any of the incredible guests that we've got coming up. Because when this passion is shared, it grows exponentially. So thank you, and now let's get stuck into it. This day and age where like music or just the way that we consume music now is like, it's so fleeting that we don't even really listen to. I'm saying like culturally as a whole. Of course, there are some people that will pick up a vinyl and take the time to sit down and really like take that in. But for the most part, I'd say that the majority of music, the vast majority of music, is just having it on when we're doing something else, right? So whether it be on a commute, at the gym, trying to do a bit of work, whatever it may be, it's not the primary focus. So it's not something that we necessarily give our full attention to. And because of that, we're also kind of like, it's when I say it's fleeting, that we happily skip random playlists, that whole thing, right? So the artistic credibility of putting together an album is starting to, I feel as though, diminish a little bit. So then what are the different strategies for musicians? Then now if you're trying to combat, especially today, with AI, how do you show up as the anti that? So, be live, right?
Yeah.
Be on stage, be present, connect with an audience. So, I mean, would that be just how it is now? Like the most honest and truthful way of being a musician, a musical artist, is just to be live?
There are a couple things. I think, one, we're spoiled with the idea that we have access to any song, anywhere, anytime, right? I'm starting to become more of an advocate of like withholding music, because if I'm throwing it into the ocean of a million songs, of course they're not going to value it. The same thing is what they say about a glass of water or a bottle of water. A bottle of water at Kmart or like this shop at Kohl's is $1, but a bottle of water at the airport is $6. Same stuff, different price. It's because it's accessible everywhere. Whereas up there, you can't get it nowhere else. So it makes it more valuable, which then people will then treat it as such, So
then how do you make music more valuable?
Well, I'm not the person to do it, because you're looking at someone who doesn't give a shit about streams, doesn't give a shit about the analytics of that, like even the algorithms to that point. But it's more so the artists themselves have to connect with their own music. Like, for example, I put out an album into 2023 and no one puts out albums, especially if you're not known. The whole point of making, I guess, for music today for a lot of people I need to get known, so I'm just going to sample this one song 15 times in 15 different videos until people start catching on, and then they're going to want the song, and then I release the song, and then it goes viral. Like that, there's methods to it. But for the artist, I think it's more important for you to say, I actually really want to create this body of work that that speaks from beginning to end. Our attention span's already being drawn, like been chopped because we're scrolling all the time.
Yeah.
But for me, as a artist who used to love like listening to an album from top to finish, I wanted to do that again. I wanted to create something like that. So that's where Decial Like Special came from, and sharing, snippets of my therapy sessions in between the songs that are inspired by what that was happening. It all became accidental. And even when I did the whole thing, by the end of it, the whole album was an hour long, which is usually how long my sessions go for. Yeah. So I'm like thinking to me, that's the alignment, similar to what you said about the chairs. Like that's the alignment of doing something that's just cool without having to play the game of how to get known.
Yeah, it's a losing game.
Yeah.
You're kind of like chasing your tail if you're trying to play that.
But I'm like, I guess at the same time, this is filling my soul and my cup. Speaking to Dreaming Now about it, actually, he was saying, I'm actually really, really fine with how I release music, and with like when I choose to put something out, and I'm like, that's so cool. And he goes, and even you, like, even if you're not releasing music now, I see what you with your son is a way of expressing and filling your cup. I think as long as we're filling our cup, we're not allowing the rest of the world to get on top of us. Why aren't we releasing music? It's like Andre 3000, who refuses to put a rap album out, and instead he puts out a flute album because that's what he wanted to do. It's not what we want, and it's sure as hell not what I want, but I'm actually inspired by his choice of doing what he wants to do, because that's the point of being an artist, is to literally sit in with yourself and be like, I feel like doing this right now, and I know everyone wants me to do this, everyone wants me to be a doctor, everyone wants me to be a lawyer, but I want to do this. And that's the creative. I think that's what a creative is.
I mean, he's also in a position where he can do that.
Yeah, but if you saw that he was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you saw where they came from, and they just loved doing that. It's kind of like chasing that excitement,
Yeah.
They were just in a little room creating dope music, and they became galaxies ahead of time because they were just doing what they wanted to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know, like I said, I don't know the answer for that today, because there's such the rat race has grown so much bigger with the art of the internet. And of course, I want my music to be heard by the right people as well. So there isn't really I don't know how to do it without compromising who I am.
It's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know if you can, but at the same time, I was reluctant in saying that because I don't even want to put it out there that it's something that you should consider doing.
Yeah. I get it. I think that once you reach a point, it's important to have like a social media team who can help you keep up with the trends, but I don't think it should be our main focus. I think our main focus is creating the art first. Like I've got a few songs that I want to release now, but I feel like it's not the right time.
I also kind of feel as though that you're saying that from a place of someone who has been around before the internet. And this is something that I've kind of reconciled with as well. Like speaking with a bunch of different artists and gallerists, that they have seen a shift in how like the next generation, they're going to be born with social media. So we can appreciate what life was like before it. But now they the next generation, like say, for example, your son, he is only going to ever know life online and offline, and they're going to be equally as important.
I said this to, I don't know who I was saying it to, but I was like, my son will never understand having to be at home at a specific time to watch your favorite show. Man. And then have to wait a week to watch the next episode of the one. I
was just having that conversation last night.
Did you?
Yeah, it was either last night or a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, because we were just saying like how we had like 5 channels, man. So I mean, at least over in Seattle, you would have had like dozens at least.
But I had two shows. It was like Pokemon and freaking Dragon Ball Z, and they came on at 2:30 p.m. and the other one was 5.
Yeah, and if you miss it, you miss it.
And if you miss it, tough luck.
You'd wait for the reruns at some point. It was video stores is one that I was like, you're never gonna have anything like that, dude. It's like I can't even explain to you how nostalgic that feeling of I suppose it will be the same for you, like when you're
Blockbuster.
A kid. Yeah, the equivalent of like Blockbuster came pretty late to Australia. So
really?
It was like video stores,
same,
but just not that chain.
Yeah.
Same thing, right?
Yeah. Friday night.
That's it. Friday
to
nights.
school.
Yeah. So, you go there, like you're in your pajamas, you pick up an overnighter and some
Ooh.
weeklies.
The 2-day ones, the one you got one that's only one day and the others two. That's when you know they're hot. And then the ones that are for a week, it's like you get 2 weekly ones and one like 2-day one.
Oh, man, the weekly ones, you can get like 5 of them.
Yeah. But that was our rule. It's like you weren't allowed to get more than 2, and we had to we like with me and my brothers would have to like negotiate which ones we were gonna get.
Right,
And then
yeah, and it was just that kind of that joy that they don't have anymore. And you are right, like it's spoiled because now we have that choice paradox where we're like we have too many options to the point where like we don't even know, we get that choice paralysis. Like what I don't even want to watch any of this. And it also disincentivizes these the filmmakers to actually put out quality. Like they're competing. Of course, there's still a lot of people that do, and that's what they strive for. But it's easier to not. It's easier to
make a cocoa melon, make a like I've watched. This is what my wife and I are basically. We're consistently talking about this a lot because she's a child psychologist, so she's got a little bit more depth into what it is that does to the human mind or the developing mind, I should say. But for me, I feel like the short attention span is not a good thing. Like even last night, he tried to watch this show, and the show is 20 minutes long. But what they didn't say is that there were like 10 snippets of a show in the one. So as I'm watching it, it was like a minute or two, and it was just nothing but like a little scenario, and then it was done. And then it went to the next one. And I'm thinking to myself, he thinks it's amazing. And anyone can say, oh yeah, it's harmless, it doesn't think. But to me, I'm like, his attention span's not being developed right. Because he's just watching these 3-second things. So every time in a movie, when there's a down point, he's going to get bored and get up and walk away.
When there's intentional tension put in there.
That's
like
right.
No.
And that's where we have to we as parents have to like be conscious of what it is we're doing at all costs, like everything. And it sucks because it takes up a lot of our brain space trying to do that. Like I bought him a Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
I spent $200 on a Nintendo DS instead of buying him a Nintendo. What's the big ones? I forgot what
Switch.
The Switch, that's right. The Nintendo Switch, because I don't want him hooked too much. Like I can if he has the one game where he has to plug it in and just play that for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, he's gonna turn it off and get bored of it. But if I give him this big ass Switch that's going to give him to do 15 million things he's going to stay on that, and I want to be able to get him to say, all right, I've had enough. Let's go play, or even I can say, all right, let's go to the park. And so then now I have to take him to the park every day because I don't want him hooked on the devices too much. And we just have to find the balance of how much screen time and how much play time we get. I think what we were talking about even before off camera, when you were saying, whenever you guys were doing drives or something, and you were saying, I'd like to do the thing where it's like, oh, look at that light switch. Like, how did that work? And how did they build that? And you guys broke it down. I thought that was a really brilliant idea to get their imagination going.
Yeah, that one was just more to try to create some wonderment in all things, right? Like we just take so many things for granted. It's like, no, you can really find wonderment in anything, literally anything, like right there. Like you can look at that curtain. Like how did they even put that together? What was it? How and then you can take it back to when they first started weaving fabrics and then just think about like, man, how crazy would that time have been when
how expensive it should have been.
it would have taken days, weeks, months, years to get all that done. And now we'll just go to Spotlight and buy it for $9 a meter or something.
That's right.
It's pretty wild.
Very convenient.
Yeah. But another one you should try is we do a thing when similar sort of situation where you got to identify a thing and explain what it does, but your explanation can't actually be what it does.
Oh, so you got to go around it, or
you just got to like this is a glass that holds water.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to. I'm not putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Tell me what's this glass do, but you can't tell me it's a vessel for holding water. It's got to have something else.
But I can't say it's a cup either.
You can call it whatever you want, but it just can't be a vessel to hold water. Or like this chair.
Yeah.
it has 4 legs, but not for balance. You have to tell me why it's got 4 legs. What is it other than sitting? Because it's not here for sitting. It's for something else.
That'd be tricky.
Work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That is tricky. It's a good brain exercise.
Yeah.
And I should say that the whole, if people buy their kids a Nintendo Switch, it's not saying that that's the wrong answer. I'm never to judge whatever people do. I just say for ourselves, like, I think it would be cool to try and limit it as much as I can. Because I know once he gets to, 13, 14, 15, he's going to be up and knowing all the things before I can even get a hold of it. So he's only 7. So
yeah, that's the conversation we have about phones. Because because my oldest is 9, and not that he's asked for a phone, but we've explained to him because he sees us on our phones a lot, right? Like, and every time when like we're sitting around doing nothing and I get my phone out and I explain to him, right, like I need to have a reason for it.
Yeah.
So I explain to him, I need to check this or that. It's like and it just helps me curb just being on it, just dicking around for no reason.
Yeah.
But I was explaining to him, I was like, dude, you got to understand that right now you live in this space with no phone. And once you get a phone, there's no going back. And I'm telling you right now, life is better without it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, once you're in, you're hooked. And it's gonna be novel for a good while. Yeah. But that's life, and then you're gonna wish that you never had it. Like when we go away on holidays, when we were in Queensland last year, and I remember distinctly there was this big, was it Telstra or Optus outage?
Yeah.
Where a whole bunch of phone lines were down.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
It was a couple of years ago. Like,
it was Optus.
Sorry. Yeah, because we were there. It was Optus, and we were in Queensland at the time on a holiday, and
everything's shut off.
Couldn't use the phones.
Yeah.
And we were at the beach. I'm like, how good's this? It's amazing.
Worked out for some. I was in the middle of work. Like, how am I going to call everyone that I'm coming? It was a nightmare for me. But I could see in that moment it would have been good.
It was perfect. It was great. Like, all we needed was just to figure out how we can get to this particular beach. Like, once we're there, it's like, we don't need anyone to contact
Man,
us.
what if that was a thing? Like, I guess it's kind of like Ready Player One, where they actually shut down the game for, I think it was one day, or like Sunday, for example, and they just shut off all communications to the game. Would you think that could be something we could do in Australia?
What? Telstra to give up billions of dollars?
Yeah. That's exactly what
yeah, would they be willing to do that? Probably not.
No. That's where, I guess it's up to our own devices now. Like the whole blocking apps and all that.
But yeah, so like for me, it's like a big part of my attention goes towards trying to help my boys. Well, I've got a Lennox, he's 9, and Aubrey, he's almost 2. So he's not at the point of being like cognizant with a lot yet. Yeah. But with Lennox, I do a lot to try to instill a sense of creativity and like a lot of free play, but also a lot of tactility involved in that, right? So he doesn't actually do much creative stuff on the iPad, so he doesn't draw on it. He likes to draw in his visual diary. He likes to make things with his hands, loves Lego. Anything that creates, that has form, I think he gravitates towards. Nice. So yeah, we try to encourage as much as we can, and like off the back of Moment of Truth, right? So you would have worked with a lot of kids, strictly kids, and the whole point of that was to, I suppose, just to remove them from the methodology of how things operate at the moment, right? Like in terms of, I've heard you speak about how, you want to give kids a sense of self-encouragement and give them, help them derive a sense of purpose within themselves and almost like self-directing their creativity. But I also thought it was really interesting how you were incorporating all the different components, not just creativity here or here, but also how you've laid in the fitness and the music, and not just as separate things, but how they all work together as well. I thought that was super interesting, man.
It was very fun.
Yeah, and how was that received anyway? What was the feedback like?
Well, I had an idea, and it became something completely different to what I had, like the idea that was. Like,
that's crazy.
It was great because it exceeded what it is I had aimed for.
What were you going in? What was the idea behind? What was the idea you went in with?
I went in with, I want to introduce them to something new, and in hopes that they can, potentially take it on and move forward with their life and try something else, like continue going with it. What I got was more like not only did they want to try, not only did they want to try something new, they were like, they really wanted to be kind of, being able to walk them through something that could be very difficult and kind of hold their hand through it. And then also whatever they do is not good or bad. Like, encourage them to try, and then encourage them that how do you say it? Like, just empower. Basically, I just wanted to empower them in one way or another. They all came in very shy, didn't know what was happening. A lot of the parents, I had to talk to the parents about, so they didn't really know what they were getting into. They thought it was going to be like a rap class or a workout class. But as I was going in between all of that, was expressing finding purpose. Now, finding a purpose is not just what do you want to do for the rest of your life. It's more of like, are you doing things on purpose to match what it is that you want to do in your life? So are you being kind on purpose to get to this, like to level up to where you want to go? Are you doing anything that's going towards what you want to do? Because if playing video games is your idea of having fun, that's great. But if it's taking up most of your day, that's not your purpose. I think everyone can do all the things that they want in moderation. But if you're going to let this take up most of your day, you're actually wasting your day rather than making it productive. And so when I gave them the idea that we needed to work towards something, it doesn't need to be, you don't even need to know what it is now. Like, even today or tomorrow, you may not even want to do with this thing, but you have to be working towards something. Otherwise, you will fall into the negative way of like life. You start falling off and, doing drugs because it's funner to do it that way than what I'm doing when I'm sober, or you lacking connection with your family or friends, or you just feel alone. So then you do other things. You play video games for 10 hours a day. But when you can really sit there and just write out your emotions, or write out a poem or rap or anything, you can really sit with it and look at yourself and be like, all right, is this who I want to be? Or do I want to be something else? And you can create a new identity through self-reflecting your own self today.
Yeah, it's like when you talk about video games, I know a lot of people, especially young boys, they resort to video games, right, as a way of feeling.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's just more of a way of filling a void, right? So, when you're talking about video games, there's a more of a linear process, right? From you starting here, and there's the end there, and we're going towards that end. And as you move along, things get harder and harder, right? So it's almost like it's a simulation of sorts, right?
Yeah.
And along the way, you get rewarded for this, and that. If you were to fail at the objective, you'll get another shot at it. And there's so many parallels between that and real life, right? But it's just that for whatever reason, we are willing to go down the video game route and not apply those same principles and actions in our own life. And because
easier.
It is definitely easier, and we feel as though that the consequences in real life are more dire than they are in the game, because, game, you die, you respawn, do it again.
Yeah.
But it's really almost the same in real life.
It is, but I think because you're a character in a game, you don't actually feel the shame. And you're kind of by yourself, and if you've died 100 times, it doesn't really show, you don't see, no one really witnesses it when you're playing a game. But like if you're doing it like online, it's different. Obviously, if you're dying online, it's like there's a little bit of it. But like if I go out and I'm really bad at skateboarding, everyone around me sees me really bad at skateboarding. It feels more uncomfortable to continue to try. So this is where, again, Moment of Truth came, like where we're just going to encourage each other. It doesn't matter where we're at. Even there was a section where in the workout, someone wasn't hitting the bag as hard and someone kind of made fun of them. And I stopped the whole class and I said, this is it. Yeah. And I said, and it's because that's how easy the schooling system is where kids are just making fun of everyone because it's actually hiding their own insecurities.
Yeah.
And I said, everyone's starting somewhere. Like when I started boxing, I could barely do 10 push-ups. And it's like, and these guys were doing 60 push-ups, but they didn't put me down for it. They understood that I'm starting here, and they were actually proud of me for actually starting and actually going through it. So if you guys are going to be the people that are going to encourage the next youth, you need to learn to be more encouraging rather than shutting people down. And the only reason why you're shutting this person down is because you don't think you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, and even if you could do that one thing yourself, you're still putting them down for something else. They may have done the writing better than you. They may have done the run better than you. Or you noticed that they did the sit-ups. They did more sit-ups and all that. Like all of those things, you just look at other people and you start feeling insecure within yourself. So now you have to bring them down.
It's always projection, isn't it?
Exactly. It was a big projection. So when I called it out and I said, we're all on a different level. No one's on the same level. It's like one person's going to do this, one person's going to do this. What we need to do is help each other thrive in each area. If you can do push-ups more, you push that person, or you do more push-ups to help them.
I think the biggest takeaway from having a session what you've put on is that a lot of the things that you're teaching them, even though you have all these I suppose somewhat independent fields of expertise, right? Music, writing, fitness, all that a lot of the skills are transferable across all of them.
Yeah.
Right. So it's you think that it's a matter of then you could say that push-ups, for example, then you've hit a threshold.
Yeah.
And then maybe go one more.
Yeah.
And then that could be the same as doing your writing. It's like, okay, you think you have it, have a look at it. Could it be refined any further? Can you write another passage?
Yeah.
It's all these things are, you're able to take a skill that you've learnt within this realm and then apply it to another. I think there's one of those, that's something that I've been sort of sitting with, and I try to apply. I don't like to just do something for the sake of just getting that thing done. I think there's always going to be some kind of underlying lesson and a takeaway that you can then bank and then apply that to another part of your life.
My wife says society rewards the outcome when we should reward the process.
It's so insane. To me, it makes no sense at all how and why that works. Even because we all live in our lives day to day, progressing, regressing, doing all that.
It goes like this. Yeah.
But yet we will always just look at someone's how many times when, someone would be like, oh man, look at, I don't want to call it, it's sometimes envious, sometimes jealousy. They'll look at someone and saying, I want what they got, right?
Yeah.
But it's no, you don't understand. What they have is not just that. What they have is years of all this.
Yeah.
Do you want that? If you want it and you got it, just put in the work.
It's again the attention span, right? So we go back to that. If you look at how we're scrolling through a lot of different, videos, if we're interested in something, they're going to show us the best version of that in a video. And we're going to be like, wow, this guy, I just found him in 3.2 seconds and he's this amazing person, but they didn't see the 10 years they pulled beforehand to get to where they are today. So their confidence is already shot from the beginning because they have so much access to the world. And fortunately for people like us, we didn't care, or we didn't even know that there was someone our age doing it 10 times better than us when we started doing the things we loved. We just said, I'm just going to keep going. And this is where I want to protect Zev from that too. I don't want to show him too many cool things that these kids are doing because it's going to make him feel inadequate or just not good, And I see it in him from time to time, and he just gets so mad that he's not good at this, and I let him sit in it because I'm like, it's good for you to feel this way because once you're ready to go at it again, you're going to get better.
So how do the kids respond to all this?
Well, I don't know how everyone responded because they all said they had a good time by the end of it. And even the lunch, I didn't even realize how connecting the lunch would have been. When we put the tables together and we had them sitting around, they asked to pass the soy sauce and they had dumplings and all that, and they're just chatting and all that. And then you could see the workout really broke them out of their shell. And they were really open. We did this really hard thing together. Now we're going to eat, and we're chatting, and they were more open to talking. I just seen that, and it made me think, these guys connect online. They just talk online. So now that they're talking in person, you could start seeing their personalities coming out, and
so they already knew each other?
No one knew anyone.
Okay.
But I'm saying in their day-to-day lives, they talk online majority of the time. That is what is it? The messenger chat that we had. Did you ever have AOL?
I had AOL.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was AOL. There was like ICQ.
Hotmail, like the Hotmail chat thing. Yeah, there was like, so like that was the beginning of it. That's their normal today. So they never got to sit in front of people and talk to strangers. And so when I saw that they were doing that, I was like, wow, this is a real moment for them without even knowing, like without even me know. I didn't plan for that. I was just like, we're just going to eat together and like share a meal, which I thought was normal. I thought was great anyway, but it grew to be something more. One of the students was so like driven by the boxing. She was like, she's never done it before. She's like, can you write down all of the steps to getting a good gym or what things I need? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Turns out the mother contacted my wife and said 3 months ago she tried to attempt suicide.
How old was she?
She was 13. And she goes, and now she's asking to go to the gym.
Cool.
And I said, if anything, that was worth all of the effort and all of the time, because that's where we're putting enough time to just give them to try something, and they may not ever do, rapping again. They may not ever, like, they don't even know that no one's ever trained with a band behind them. Like, they're only just introducing DJs to gyms now. Like, there's not a band that's playing at any gym while you work out. I said to them, you guys don't even know. Well, maybe when you get older, but even for me, I'm like, this is fun. Like, they wait for me to go, and they start just going in, and everyone's hitting the bag, and I was like, this is so cool. We're doing, like, abs, and they chill out. Like, even on our rest time, they play. That was next level.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Even, like, with the idea of rapping, for me, that when you mentioned that, I just pictured myself doing it, and I almost like shat myself. Just the idea of, and getting some kids that I would dare say, that at a very vulnerable age, a lot more self-conscious, the idea of putting together some lines, getting up and performing that is like, and for them to even consider that, attempt it, and if some of them even did they do it?
Yeah.
That is one of those transferable skills, right? Like, you have this thing that, and I'm sure they would have been petrified beforehand. And then once you've done that, you're like, that's not so hard. That's really not so hard. And what else could you possibly do in your life that's going to be more fearful than standing up in front of a crowd and rapping?
Reciting something you wrote.
I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that.
Well, this is...
And they're doing... And this is the thing. They're kids, right? So now they have this thing. Once you planted that seed now, the next thing for them is like, got it.
I did this before.
Got this.
It's a process. There are a few things that I took away from this one. I might have rushed them into it too quick, like the rap part.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, they're so... I got in my own head, and I said... They're so used to being stimulated all the time. I need to just jump straight into it. I should have just created a couple of icebreaker games to really get them loose, right? And I do have a couple, but I like jump straight into the rhyme on time, which is a way. It's a game I created to help them get acquainted with beats and rhymes. So I give you a word, right? For example, leaves is a word. I said leaves. Now think of all the words that you could rhyme with leaves. Now it's like, now what if I said guac and beans with my nachos, don't forget about and then they have to get what would rhyme with leaves, and they say cheese, and it's like, yeah, cheese. So guac and beans with my nachos, don't forget about and then they yell cheese. We out here at the picnic sitting underneath the trees. Got the top down in my car so I could feel and they're like, breeze. I'm like, cool. Now I put a beat on. I got the band. I'm like, all right, guys, play something.
Like, now you go.
Now we're going. Blocking these, but my nachos, don't forget about the cheese. And like, it got them up. But because I did it so quick, they were kind of a little bit shy, which I should have done like a game or two before to kind of get them warmed up. And so they didn't get into that so much. Yeah. But then when I said, all right, guys, now you're going to go and you're going to write your own stuff. And I gave them 30 minutes to just sit there. And I said, you don't have to show me. You don't even have to recite it. It's not mandatory. I just want you to try. write something. If you want to share it with me, I'm happy to do it. If you want me to rap your lyrics, I'm happy to do that too. So gave them a bunch of options. A few of them said, I'm keeping it to myself. I said, great, that's great. And I was like, just keep it in your notebook. You can come revisit it again. You know, that's what I did. I didn't share anything that I wrote for like 4 years before I was somewhat comfortable trying to recite it to friends. You know, so I know it's a sensitive spot, and I don't want to force them, you know, I don't want to pull them out the closet, you know what I mean? It's like, it takes a time, but there were some that were willing, and we got around it, treated it like a cipher, and encouraged them when they were done.
I'm seeing this a lot, these workshops that are geared towards kids. Specifically in the space of creativity. You know, I've spoken to a couple of people that are running their own, and all different forms, and catering to different demographics of people as well. But it seems to be, I feel as though it's something that there's need for it.
Yeah.
I think there is a big need for it, where, especially this day and age, that I think that the first thing that's going to be diminished is the way we think. Because you think about it, like, if we're going to be, you know, how many times you're sitting with some friends and you're just talking shit, and then someone's going to pull out the phone just to verify. Yeah. Right. Like, I've had a good friend of mine, we were doing that, and then I went to get my phone to check. He goes, we're not doing that. He goes, no, we don't need the answer. The whole point of this is just this dialogue. Right. It's just to shoot the shit. So now, you know, we don't even really need to remember things. We can just recall by bringing it up on our phone. We don't need to have, you know, that cognizant part just to train our knowledge base. We just need to know that we can retrieve it whenever we want. And then the next step beyond that is just the creativity, right? Like, we're not forced to. And creativity, me personally, I think that a big part of it is problem solving, right? Like, there's problem, solution, or something absent, fill it. That kind of thing. There's that tension between, you know, creating. You feel something because there is something that is either making you feel great or not. For me, and a lot of times it used to be there was an absence of something. It was like something negative, and I needed to express that. And I think for a lot of people, that's where creativity comes from. But if we're not connected or not thinking in that way, if we're not problem solving type thinkers, then the first thing that's going to go is our creativity.
Yeah, you're right. You're very you're spot on with the whole, you know, kicking the shit and not bringing out the phone, because that's where the creativity of the answer might come, you know, like, or even an alternative answer that you never thought of, because we're not jumping straight to the answer. That's where ChatGPT is going to really mess with us, because instead of some of us trying to do something, we'll go straight to that, and it gives it. So we're not going to be exercising that part of our brain much longer, unless we're conscious and aware that is this something I can do myself, or is this something I really need help with, because it's not really what I want to focus on right now.
Yeah, or is this something that I even really need to know? Like, what's
That's
the point?
right.
What's the point? What's the point? We're just having a conversation. We don't need to arrive at any truths. Like,
especially if you're hanging with your boys, you know, like, you know, no one's really caring if you actually know the answer or not. We're just trying to have a beer, you know?
It's like, thanks, man. You just shut that conversation down. What next?
Exactly.
I've had the conversation with, I can't even remember when. It was a few weeks ago. I was talking to like a family friend about music. He's big into music. Was saying how, like, that there's this big disparity. There are people that will listen to vinyls have, like, overtaken CD sales, right?
Yeah, so CDs are out.
CDs are out. But at the same time, the CD quality is far superior.
So good.
Far superior.
That's right.
So we have this really weird thing culturally where we are willing to give up quality for convenience. So the CDs are gone, but we'll happily stream it.
The streaming is terrible sound.
Me, as someone that, like, I cannot distinguish. Right? Like, I maybe with a good set of cans, I'll be able to hear it.
Yeah.
But if I'm just using my Bluetooth, whatever.
What you have to do is literally go to an album you've listened to, like, as your childhood, like this, and listen to the stream, and then listen to listen to the CD.
CD. Yeah.
But like it'd have to be right, like kind of one after the other. It's not like you could tell it is a difference. It is kind of a big difference too, because I did it and I was like, it's actually next level different. But because you're not listening to it like the CD, like every day, this is easier. It's like your brain gets tricked into just being okay with it.
Yeah. It's like I get it's fine.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I listened to a CD. And plus, like where I was listening to a CD, it wasn't necessarily the best sound system either. So whatever, right?
It's kind of hard. I gave a kid a CD. He loved my set after a set, and the kid came up to me. He's like, I really loved it. He was like 13 years old. I was like, oh, cool, man. Here, have a CD. And he's like, oh, no, thank you. And I said, what
am I going to do with this?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what to do with it. And I said, oh, man. I said, I could. And that's when I stopped buying CDs. He said, from that day on, I was like, all right, CDs are out.
Yeah, so it's strange that we'll keep vinyls, we will keep streams, so we have opposite ends, right?
Pure opposite ends.
They're not opposite necessarily in quality. They're opposite ends of how we consume them. Right?
It's a collector's item.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a collector's item, but more than that is a ritual to it, right? So like I was saying, how for me most of the time music is consumed when I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, vinyls are consumed to consume the vinyl.
Yeah.
Right. Like
I haven't seen. I mean, I haven't really been. Well, I don't know what other people do, but I usually like people will put it on if we're having a conversation. Put some like nice music in the background, even on vinyl as well. It's so nice to have it playing while.
Yeah. It could just be, man. I just want to
ambiance and
put something on, have a glass of wine, and just chill out. It's the people without kids that can do that.
Yeah. Well, it's long gone for us.
But yeah, so it's that like we have that. We have this relationship. When we consume creativity in whatever way, we still have this relationship with the experience.
Yeah.
That's more than just the music. It is creating this environment and this restfulness space. It's the same as like when you're looking at art, you could be flicking through Instagram and looking at an artist's work. But, when they have an exhibition opening, a gallery opening, I love just to head out there and just to see it in that space and to bump into other people that I know and just to have those interactions and to have that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I also love just going to a gallery when no one's there, just to be in that space.
Yeah.
But looking on my phone, like, yeah, not bad, pretty good, like, and that's it. It's done. Like, I'm not really taking it in. I'm not.
Do you ever feel like you wish you were there?
In where?
When you're scrolling.
I wouldn't say that I wish I was there, but like I've recently had a few people that have been on this podcast that who have had exhibitions.
Yeah.
So when I see like the work in progress, I see what's coming up, and it gets me excited to go.
Yeah.
And then when I get there, it's like, fuck, that's really good. That's like far better than I expected it. Not expected to be, far better than the standard that is being put on the device.
Yeah,
I guess it really just minimizes it down to a screen when like you're talking about a monumental piece where standing in front of it, seeing the brush strokes, it's different, and seeing the vibrancy of the color.
It's really hard to like as artists, it's like hard to show off how good we are and then put it into a post. Like I've been watching even Sahil's exhibition, like his exhibition out last a couple weeks ago. They've got video, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, man, like they've managed. It's really hard to really
at his residency.
Yeah, at his residency, just watching how he like putting video to it, whereas like usually you just put a photo saying come to the exhibition. You don't know what to expect. But then now you got video footage of like bits of him painting or like bits of the pieces and all that, giving you as much perspective as possible to get you to want to get up and go out there, which is really hard to do.
Dude, I'll take it the next step further. I was just there last week.
Oh, yeah?
And he ran some workshops.
I saw that.
Yeah, I went to one of his workshops.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so it was the next level to that is that I got to speak with the artist and have him direct me as to how he creates his art.
Yeah.
And because it was actually, this is pretty cool because for me that came at a very serendipitous time because I've been doing a bit of painting myself and creating a lot of work. But my background being in design, like my work is really clean and polished and very controlled.
That's right.
So I was like looking at my work and like was thinking I need an element of almost like randomness or a bit of something just a bit more sporadic.
A little bit abstract.
Abstract, but it's not so much abstract. It's more like putting something down and you get what you get and you're at the mercy of the process rather than controlling it. And, you know, I've always been looking at Sahil's work because I love it. But then when he had the workshop, like, I'm going to this workshop. I'm going to go pick his brain on this. So I learnt a lot. So that was like another level of this interaction and creativity where, you know, I get to speak directly with the artist to learn about their process, learn about the way they think and the way they behave and
sharpen your sword. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's a big part that we really need to factor in is like, how does one cultural influence or something that you do as an artist, how does that, you know, what's the ripple effect that you're casting out? And I keep on going back to the kids, but I always like, that's what it comes back down to, right? Like what's the culture that we're leaving behind for the next generation to pick up and to do something with, right? Like how do we keep this hunger going?
Yeah.
You know, like how do we keep this pursuit of creativity going? And, you know, like you're doing just that. Like you're running these workshops that calls for them to do something with their hands, to use their bodies and their minds in tandem.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's again, I think doing workshops like Sahil's workshop as well. Like we need to have as many of these little like experiments where we just try and get them to try something out and then hope that they continue it on, you know? Because, I mean, I don't know what the other kids are doing now. Like, some of them are students of mine, so I see them weekly. But watching someone do something really good and break it down is literally all they need. You know, if I showed them how to hit the bag properly or show them some fancy footwork to make sure that they're positioned in the right stance when they're throwing a punch, is like so empowering to them that they can then take it to the next step or take it to the next level. So workshops like, art workshops, even running a basketball game with like a bunch of kids, just getting them to come out and we'll play a game. There's no pressure on win or lose. We're just trying to have fun. We just went to my son's school family camp last weekend.
Yeah, cool.
And I ran a couple of boxing classes, and then we did a basketball tournament with parents versus kids, sorry. And you can just see the kids just want your involvement. They want you to just play with them and, you know, make it a little bit tricky, but don't make it impossible. And, you know, even with the boxing, they were doing everything I was saying. Like I was trying to trick them and like running in a circle. I yell switch and then I go the other way and they have to just keep up with everyone. And all of that kind of involvement connects with them. And so whenever I get them connected like that, I can get them to do whatever I want. And so now I'm like, we're doing push-ups. They don't know that push-ups are hard. I'm just like, 5 push-ups now, go, go, go. And they do it. And then we did a little sparring. I'm like, all right, all of you guys line up, put the gloves on, and then hold him. They get to punch me as hard as they want, as fast as they want. And then the very end is where all their walls are down. They're very tired, and I'm doing stretches with them. I'm just like, I just want to let you guys know you are amazing. You did great. You tried your best, and you got some really good hits in, like really building their confidence up while the walls are down. Because before then, it's the walls are up, and nothing's getting through there. You need to connect, bring the walls down, and then redirect, like whatever their brain function of whatever they're thinking. You know, whenever you're feeling like, you know, you can't do it, just think you guys did 15, 20 push-ups today, and like, how did you do that? I was like, it's not me. You did it. I just said 5 push-ups. You went down and did 5 push-ups, and then next thing we did it again. I said, those are that is what was taught to me when I was younger, from the boxing gyms that I've been at. Like, nothing was coming through unless I had my walls down.
Yeah. So there's a big element of trust in there. They've got to really believe that that you have their best interest at heart.
Yeah, they don't even know that I'm reprogramming their brain like that. They and that's the thing. I didn't either. When they were talking, when my boxing instructor or my friends that I was training out at the park doing calisthenics, I'm like pushing past this barrier of like self-doubt and just going an extra 4 or 5 reps. And then he was like, bro, that's dope. Like 2 months ago, you couldn't do this and now you've done this. And like that was being programmed into my brain to say, if I'm tired, I can keep going if I really wanted to.
Do you feel as though that like things have gotten a bit soft as well? So the generation that came before us, our parents, they were soft in a way where I think that they were emotionally weak.
Yes.
But they were tough as fuck in the sense that they would just grit their teeth and just deal with anything.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Like, I'm not saying that that's ideal.
I know what you're talking about though, yeah.
Yeah. Saying that where they were deficient in, they made up for it with grit and determination. In many ways, overcompensated for it.
Of course.
Yeah. But now things have swung back the other way.
Well, yes, but that's what happens when you go too far one side.
Yeah.
All right, so how do you... my wife uses she uses it as an example. She goes, we like to think that, authoritarian parenting and passive parenting, like with, different parenting styles, right? So the opposite of the opposite, right? She's like, you would think that they're like this, but in reality, they're up here. And you really want to be down here. They're right next to each other, but on the other side. So realistically, you want to be emotionally intelligent, strong-willed, and that's the middle of all of one side and the other. Our parents. I can speak for my parents. I don't know about your parents, but my parents, again, they didn't show sort of signs of affection or so on because I was a boy, and they wanted me to be tough, and they wanted me to be. And that really messed with my psyche today. It's like, because now my son is wanting my affection and yet I can't give it to him because I wasn't really shown. Mm-hmm. And without me having to go through therapy and talk about everything, I couldn't pinpoint where or why I can't show this stuff with ease. And then after realizing, oh, right, I wasn't really shown that sort of affection that I needed, I then told my parents about it, and then my dad, which was mainly for my dad, realistically, it was like he didn't show affection to me, and it didn't say that he didn't love me or I didn't have a bad childhood. It was just I had a bad childhood. It was just that you didn't give it to me, and now I'm having troubles doing it to my son, and I'm just saying that's what I'm working on at the moment. He calls me back 2 days later and says, when you first told me, I was really offended, and I was just so taken back by those words. And then I thought about it, and you're right. I wasn't affectionate to you, and it was because I was scared that wasn't how that wasn't the stigma at the time. Like it wasn't allowed, right? So when you say our parents were just like really gritty and strong and all that, yes, because they weren't also shown. So now our job as us being more educated, more knowledgeable, we have all this technology around. It's our job to face those things and break that cycle so that our next generation, our kids, will be able to be more aligned with their emotions, but also know when to be strong.
It feels though that it is our generation, this generation right now, the parents of today, of young kids, that it's really swung where like the generations before, it was just apple tree, right? And now it's sort of like for us is to have any kind of, I suppose, the influence, the impact that we want to leave to the next generation, that there needs to be a bit of a shift in that approach. That we have to look at, okay, we have to kind of be more self-aware.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that is maybe even like COVID forced that upon us, just to be, that it forces us to really think and just to like identify with a lot of our bullshit and be like, fuck, where have I gone wrong? Like why did things suck?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so then Then what I mean by like, that it's gone too soft is that I think that there is still a lot of, and I know you've spoken about this, about like kids just like being reluctant to try because of the fear of failure. But instead of encouraging kids to try and fail because it's okay, I think that a lot of the narrative is like, oh, it's okay, you don't have to do that. And I'm like, that's fucking
The participation
shit.
badges.
I mean, like, I don't even mind the participation badges because at least they're participating and trying. But in some cases, like, you don't even need to try. I'm like, I don't know. I get it. Yeah. I mean, I understand. Like, you don't want to put a kid in an uncomfortable position, but at the same time, put the kid in an uncomfortable position.
I think we should always put them in uncomfortable positions where they may not know they are ready to take the step. And I think a lot of it has to do because we've pacified them for so long.
Yeah.
If you pacify them for too long, then obviously they're never going to leave your side. Whereas, like, sometimes you can give. I think my wife likes to compare it to like making sure they had enough connection when on their low moments, so that when they're outside, they can venture out and know that you're always going to be there.
That's probably it. I think that needs to be the thing. Yeah, just to have that.
Security.
That security. I don't want to say tether, but
it's not
a tether, but it's just giving them the free reign to go as far out as they want.
Yeah.
But have a base.
Yeah. So like we put our own fears into our own kids. Like, oh, I don't want you to get yourself hurt. I don't want you to get hurt. And at playgrounds, I've watched parents, withhold their child's potential because they're feeling brave and comfortable and confident. But because you're afraid of the heights, you stop them to say it's not safe.
That's kind of what I mean.
Yes.
Right? Like
then what happens is when you're not around, they're going to throw themselves off the cliff because they don't have you to stop. They don't have you to stop them. And B, they're worried you're going to come and stop them before they try something.
Do you think so? Or do you think that they're just going to be reluctant to because they've always been told that there's fear on the other side of it?
It can go either way. Yeah. But some kids who just need to know will more likely throw themselves off, throw themselves off unprepared because the fear of them getting pulled out because they were like, I really feel confident I can do this. My son is going down these massive ramps at the skate park now, and it's like shit scaring me. And I see him, because I watch him every single time, I can see when he doesn't feel confident and then when he does. And those moments when he's feeling confident, there's like a 3-second window where he's like, I'm going. And I try my very hardest not to interfere, because when I see it and I see it in his eyes, and he looks at it, and I've seen it. He'll do this, nah, and he'll continue on. But like I'll never like say anything. I'll just let him sit with his own mind. And then the one day I'm watching him, and he was also unwell as well. So I was like, will he know his own boundaries? And he fully went down it. It was like a half pipe, like them big ass half pipes.
You got to do that when you're young. You're not doing that as an adult.
No. Yeah. He taught me how to go down a ramp. Like he taught me how to go down a ramp with my skates. And even then he taught me how to go down, but I forgot that he needed to teach me how to go up. So I flew up and just landed hella hard on the thing. But it was so cool. And he felt good because he taught me something. And I was like, it was really cool. But it's one of those things where like they branch out early if you let them.
Yeah. And I think that there are some that are going to want to go further than you're comfortable with. Yeah. But then there are also some that aren't comfortable doing anything. And I think that's where I sit with like, as I always just tie it back to like, what are the lessons that we're teaching them? And it's not about standing on the edge of a half pipe. It's not about like standing in front of a crowd. I think that it's always this underlying lesson. Like, what is it that they can take away from this, right? Like anything that you do it's never as hard as you think it was going to be, right? Like never. Like anything that you have done in your life that you've accomplished, you did it, right? So the fact that you thought that it was going to stop you, it was going to stunt you in any way, it's like, well, it obviously hasn't.
No. Moment of truth, I didn't even know I've never done it before. So like I've taught classes, boxing classes, I've rapped and I've shown, but I never combined it. Like, what if they want to go home halfway through this 5-hour day? you know? Like, I never thought like maybe they would just be like, can you call my parents? I want to go home. Like,
Yeah.
it was just something that I had to try and do.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with boxing, with rapping, with all of that. Like, I just tried it, and that's how I got good at doing it, by consistently trying and doing it again. And I think all of the kids need that, at least. And I found there's a cutoff point with kids and teenagers. With teenagers, the parents, I don't know, they're not really doing anything unless it's a sport to get them to try something else. Like, if they're not into sport, what about art? Or, get them into some sort of program that gets them going as well. I think a lot of the money goes to the kids. This is just from the few years of me working it. Like, a lot of parents want their kids, their 5 to 10-year-olds, to come and do all these classes. But the 13 to 19-year-olds, they I don't know, they just don't have their the support.
Yeah, I guess the focus has shifted, right? Like, you are right. Like, there is a lot of time, money, energy invested in sport. And I suppose, like, when you're talking about, like with any creative pursuit, that's a vocation that's usually done in private as well.
Yeah.
Like, I dare say that for the most part, parents will be supportive of the kid pursuing some kind of creativity even as a hobby, and will help support that financially. But I think that that's also something that you will more often than not just do in your own private space.
But why do they have to do it on their own?
They don't.
That's where I was saying, like, some parents, if they were, I would say, if you could see that their kid or their teenager is somewhat interested in something, why not push them to go into something in that field?
Yeah, I suppose, like, on the other end, you need someone that has the ability to do the thing, and has the patience to then, and the patience and the skill to be able to teach it to a younger generation. Because you think, like, I can sit here and I can speak to you about all sorts of things, and we can speak at a level that is conceptually a bit more challenging, right?
Yeah.
But then if you want to try to explain something to a kid, you got to really distill that down and use really simple language. And it's hard, right? It's hard to get something that is a big idea and to bring it down to this.
But do we understand the thing we're teaching if we can't make it simple?
That's a good point. Yeah. Fuck, I don't know.
If we can't break it down into something simplistic for a 5-year-old to understand, then
do we really
understand it, right? Even with boxing, I tell the kids, stand up straight. Who's right-handed? Or sorry, who's left-handed? I was like, all right, if you're left-handed, you have to do the opposite. So take your left foot, put it forward, and then I put them in a position, the boxing position.
Yeah, everything is really simple, isn't it?
It needs to be. You need to be able to make it simple, because not even adults can comprehend what some of the things we're teaching them. We need to make it simple for them too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think we just need to, if we're not able to break it down, similar with the writing, like, I'm not a heavy freestyler. I can't freestyle like as well as Melbourne's super talented rappers are, right? But I can formulate a sentence and double, triple entendres in the writing process that makes that, to me, feels like I stand out, right? And that's where I had to break it down, which is what the Rhyme on Time was. How simple can I make rap and make it easy enough for the kids to feel like rappers in 30 seconds?
Like Sugar Hill Gang kind of rap.
Yeah. It's super simple raps, but when they feel like they're rapping it by just yelling the last word, and then they're thinking of the word too, and sometimes they think of other words that work. I'm like, use the word that you thought. That little simple game makes them feel like I can write a rap. And when we all started writing raps, have you ever wrote a verse before? No. Oh, no?
No way.
I feel like everyone should try and write a verse.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. I showed them how we start, how most people start. They say who they are or their rap name and something that they do, don't, or want you to know about them.
Yeah, okay.
And that's usually how it goes, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. So it's just that. Like, tell us what you want us to know. Tell me what you want me to know.
Yeah.
And that's usually
that's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's really simple. And and then it gets more complex and more, you build off of that. Similar to, Sahil probably teaching us how to start, where to start. I say to him all the time, I wouldn't know where to start. And then he talks to me like he's Raekwon with all these like fancy words on how he did the color palette of this. I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds good. He should be a rapper.
Dude, there was a bit where in that workshop, and after he was explaining his process, and I've seen him paint before, and I've seen squillions of his paintings, and so after he talked through, this is how he does it. Like, yeah, easy, man. Like I can tell, no worries, got this. So then I get the roller, I put the paint on, and I put the first stroke, and then I'm like, fuck, what now? And I froze, man. I actually froze. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is. I was paralyzed. Like, that's it. I've like, what the hell? So that was all these things because like on the flip side, so I'm going to tie this into a lot of what you just said.
Okay.
That when you distill something really simple, then at that point, you don't overthink things. You just do, right? And then when you can have one brick and then you add another one and another one, another one, you now have reps. And then once you have reps, it's in your body.
That's right.
It's in your body. So it's like, call it intuition, call it like a foundry that you can tap into, whatever it is. Like, Sahil will grab the same tool and go, psh, 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 done, right? Because he has the reps. He trusts all the things that he has learned, but it's simple. Yeah. And I'm here thinking, oh my God, what? I'm stuck.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, but I've just managed to overcomplicate a really simple thing.
Yeah, overthink it, and that's, I think, what we all do. I mean, when you put a piece of paper and a pencil, and you know how people just do free writing or free drawing, like, what the hell? I wouldn't know what do you mean? You just let your hand go and you just do it? Yeah. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, but you just got to start somewhere, right? Like, that's you say you can't do it, but at some point, if you did that every day,
that's right.
Then you give it a year, and you're doing it without even thinking. It's just automatic.
They say is whether you can or you can't, you're right either way.
Yeah,
that's right. That's it.
And so you got to trust that. And I think that when you're speaking with the kids, and how did you even arrive at that point where like, this is what I want to do for me, is to instill this into the next generation?
It was actually after my first 3-day water fast.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You had an epiphany.
Yeah. Like, well, it was very funny because like the week before I had gone on my first like solo trip away from my family.
Yeah.
I went over to see my best friend out in Cape Gloucester. So he lives off grid out in Queensland. And he's got like this beautiful place where he built with his 2 hands on the 2 shipping container place. And we were just like kicking the shit like you said, and he was like, you should just do like a workshop for kids. And I was like, I don't even know what I would do. Like, it doesn't sound like, I don't know. I wouldn't do. Like, what do I do? What do I know? Right? And then he also told me about the 3-day water fast. And I'm like, bro, I could barely go 5 hours. Like, I'm not doing that. And then something came over me when I came home, and I was like, I need to do this 3-day water fast. And he's like, he kept saying it's a game changer. It'll change your life. You'll feel amazing. You'll feel great. And so I did. I said to my wife and my son, I'm like, you guys are going to have to give me a lot of grace. I said, I'm going to be checked out for 3 days. I'm just letting you know now. And I was like, I'm still going to work and all that. It was hell. I like got off the internet, didn't do it. I just like literally just try to lock into this. And then on the 3rd day, I felt completely different. I felt so different. I felt amazing. My first meal felt like a newborn baby, right? I was like, it was the best meal I've ever had. And then we came home. We put on funnily enough, a friend of mine said, watch Tony Robbins's next Netflix movie. And then literally 30 seconds into the show, I paused the show and I'm like, I know what I'm doing. It's like, I'm going to run a workshop for teenagers. And she's like, whoa. And I said, yeah, I was like, I kept sitting there. I've been talking to my wife like previously. I'm like, do I do another show? Like, I feel like I'm not really getting the most out of these gigs, like hosting a gig and doing that. I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And I don't want to repeat the same cycle because obviously it'll be the same outcome, right? And then I was like, I'm not doing a gig. I'm not going to focus on a gig this year. I'm going to do a workshop, and it's going to teach these kids how to rap, box, self-reflect, and that's it. And I just started like that. And then she's like, all right, that sounds great. And then I sat down and finished watching the movie. And then from that day, it was in January, yeah. And then September pulled it through.
Cool.
Yeah.
Damn. Why teenagers?
I saw that they needed me the most.
Okay.
I'm really good with kids. Like my son and I, we create games at parks all the time, and somehow we get all the park to join in. So much so that parents are like, "What time are you coming back tomorrow?" Like I'm bringing my kid. Like never seen him so locked in type stuff. So I see the kids are still super bright and super open, right? Like, and I could do that. It to me, it's like low hanging fruit in a way, but I'm happy to do it if that was not a choice. What I'm seeing are the teenagers locked out of their own self esteem, locked out of connecting with others, their family. They're not really. That some of them are broken homes. Like I come from a broken home myself. Like they've got a lot against them, and because they have the internet, they're shot. Their confidence is shot even more. So with kids, there's still time. With teenagers, we're losing.
Yeah.
We're running out of time.
That's the space, isn't it? Because
So-
that's when that's the sliding doors moment, then.
right? And
Yeah.
this where and like we can if we really want to go into it, we can go as far as like the education system isn't helping them. The some of the mental health plans aren't helping them. Like it's not just this. It's like it's not the medicine's not helping them. It's a lot of connection, self-worth, just a few of these things that I feel we could literally tamper with by just exposing them to more creative outlets.
Yeah, 100%, man. I really think that that's the best way to give them opportunities to flourish, but flourish isn't the right word because
Express themselves.
yeah, to experiment really.
Yeah.
Just to fuck around with something and see whether or not they even like it, because even if they don't, there's something there. There's something there for them to know. It's like, hey, I just gave that a go.
And
Not
they
for me, but
focused on the one thing.
focus.
On the one thing for however long they did. And that's kind of why I wanted to make it 5 hours. Because if I only had an hour to them,
Nah.
and we're not really implementing change here. And who knows, 5 hours may not even be enough. I just thought the most I can get them to do is be here for 5 hours and just focus on themselves, show them and give them examples. I give myself examples. I'm definitely not where you guys were at this age. You guys are far beyond what I was thinking of at that time. But because I know you're capable of hearing what I've got to say, I want to give you as much information as I can before you guys go off and do your own thing.
I like that, man. I think that's principally we need to have more of that. And you are right. There is a lot of we got a lot of resources for kids. A lot,
That's
a ton
right.
of them.
Yeah.
And teenagers, they're for the most part neglected, man, and they're the ones that need more attention than anyone else.
And then you're wondering why cars are getting stolen and break-ins are happening. And it's like, realistically, if they had something going for themselves, if they had something to look forward to, I don't think they would put their lives in jeopardy like that if there wasn't a purpose that they had, or had some sort of mentorship or someone to help point them in the right direction, because the people who they're turning to are the people who give them the attention. And if the people who are giving them attention are criminals,
Yeah.
what else do you think is going to happen from that? We have to create more mentors, more coaches that really care for our kids. We've seen Coach Carter.
And then also then you have on the peripherals the people that are aligned, whether it be socioeconomically or within the same neighborhood, that are getting thrown into this class and just saying that you guys are all criminals.
Yep.
And they're already being discarded as criminals without even doing anything. Like, where else do you think they're going to go?
Yeah, and like I think about it with like even in America, where you've got these kids who are drug dealing, and because if you're under 18, It's a lot like less sentences, and they get them to do all these different crimes.
And then they're roping kids into.
They're roping them in,
Oh
and
my
like,
God.
and realistically, if we had people who really cared for them,
Yeah.
they would pull away from it. But the balance is, it's out of whack. You know, we're just saying, well, you're 15 years old now, you should know better. You know, it's like we see it, and then we give grace to the 5-year-old who cries, or the 7-year-old who cries, and you know, he's just a kid. I'm like, well, these guys are still kids, and like, we don't know what level of maturity they've reached, because it might have stopped at a certain age, or they've dealt with so much trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it in another place. Like, one kid was coming to a boxing class, and they were telling me to give him some special treatment, and I said no, because I don't want to scare him off. If I start changing up the thing that he's enjoying already, he may run off and do that. But they broke it down and said that his dad, he was during COVID, murdered his roommate while the son was there. And now the dad's in jail. He has to go live with his mom out in St. Kilda, who he's never lived with before. And now he's not going to school. He's fighting at school. He's ditching class and coming, but he's coming to boxing. And I was like, well, what do you like? If I'm his only hope of some sort of regularity, let's sit down with him and see what else we can support with him, and let's get him into, like, if he's liking the training and liking the boxing, then we need to be able to find some other things as well. But COVID happened, shut down the whole thing. Haven't seen him since.
I get that, man. I get that. That's definitely like a big focus, like both. And I think that's also the age where things start to diverge, right? Because when you have all these kids are treated, they're in the same pool.
Yeah.
But then when you're hitting your adolescence, you're starting to try to figure out who you are. You're still miles away from having any clue.
Yep.
But then because of that, there's all this self-consciousness that comes in. And then that's when you start to, when the boys and the girls are starting to splinter, right? Because like, I know like my son at his school, there's like, everyone just exists really well together, right? And it's all very much a level playing field.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you're talking about just like with hormones and puberty, everything
Peer
changes.
pressure.
The whole peer pressure, man, that everything changes.
Yep.
But then it's almost like, figure it out.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, shit, we've been doing it for forever, but not ideal.
No, and I think it's unconscious. I think there are ways. We just haven't really expressed interest in it enough, and B, trialed things. Like even myself, I'm telling my son even today, remember who you are. I said, if anything is trying to pull you out of who you are, try and avoid it. I said, because as soon as you start doing all these other things that make you cool, that's what makes you uncool. What makes you cool is the things you genuinely like, and that will stand out. Eventually, it may not look like it in 5 years' time, but in 10 years' time, when you know that I like this, but I don't like this, and I do like this, you'll find your team. I said this in the workshop, the K-pop Demon Hunters. Have you seen it?
Oh man, like only a squillion times.
Okay, cool. So I had to watch it because I was like, look, I got to connect with these kids. I got to find out what the hell is going on with this show. Anyway, I'm also convinced that psychologists wrote the songs, but I don't know. I'm just saying that as like a conspiracy theory.
It was so on point. Everything about it was just like, everything was considered.
So what I used that as an example because I said Rumi spent her whole life pretending to be someone she wasn't, in hopes that the people who love her won't love her no more. Like if she told them if she told her the truth, the truth, they won't love her. And so she hid it from them. I said, but if she was who she was from the beginning, the people who loved her will always be in their lives.
Yeah, that's true. My pushback would be
Go.
is that she didn't want to lose her friends.
Of course.
Right? But if she was honest from the start, she wouldn't have made those friends.
How so?
Because she was the antithesis of what they were. Like
they were the hunters, right?
Yeah.
Do you think she would have joined the hunters if she was who she was at that moment.
I'm saying they would have disowned her from the start. That they wouldn't even considered her a friend.
You don't think so?
Maybe not. But
Maybe.
I suppose like my okay, like just to put it into a more of a real world sort of situation, is that like for me doing this podcast and getting back into art and forming connections with like-minded and spirited creative people, I feel as though that I found my people, right?
Yeah.
So it feels like that I've come out of the closet, so to speak, right? But what I mean, and then the opportunity cost for that is that a lot of the friends that I had my whole life, I have less time and energy to dedicate towards that. So then I ask myself, if I was doing this back then, would I have made those friends that I've had for the last whole life? And I don't think so.
Okay, but you still, and at that point was still trying to be yourself. You may not have been yourself entirely, but you were trying to be yourself. And then you did something else that was yourself as well, and it grew, and your network grew, and you grew to making more friends, right? This is where we don't know what Rumi would have been like, or if she would have even had those friends. Maybe it was a better life.
Yeah.
But that's the point of being able to recognize who you are from the start.
Sure.
And you can change. It's like we're going to change as we grow up. But at least knowing from deep down, you're not doing something to be cool with the people that
100%.
you don't really like you that well either. They just
Yeah.
want you to follow the crowd and follow the leader. And that's where we want to instill that confidence in them. To be able to stand on your own, if you need to stand on your own, and be like, that's not what I want to do, or that's not who I am.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's like a part of that is that there is that opportunity cost as well. And I 100% agree with you. At every step along the way of your life, always just check yourself and ask if this is something that's right for you.
For you.
Because like it's like now, today, I suppose that there have been a lot of friendships that have dwindled because of, I suppose it's that the opportunity cost, right?
It's like elevation of growth, really. Like
that's exactly right. Yeah. So instead of like if you're trying to do something that is authentically for you, but you're reluctant to do it out of the fear of losing the friends or losing what you have, doesn't have to be friendship, but just whatever it is, the life that you've built. Yeah. Then that's something that you might just have to forego.
Yeah. So, well, that's the same thing. There was like a video online where he goes, I want something new. And then it starts deleting things that was in your current life. And you're like, wait, I don't want that to change.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how do you want change if you have to let go of some stuff if you want new opportunities to come? Like you can't be with someone here if you're connected with these people here.
It's definitely an element of having to give something up.
You have to, it's really the evolution of growth. Like we have to grow, and we're not friends with the people we were friends with when we were 5.
Yeah.
There might be that like that 1 or 2 people, and that's great because at least they seen who you were and grew with you. You're either growing together or you're growing apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. I'm having my family. I'm like, because I'm stepping into this like self like noticing and being a bit more comfortable with who I am. I can tell them what's wrong. But see, they're still used to the old version of me, who's quiet and just laughs and makes jokes about everything and doesn't take anything seriously. I'm like, no. Now, since having a child, I'm blessed with the opportunity to look and face these things that I've been either like shoving under the carpet or closing off because it's going to hinder his growth, which is also hindering my growth.
Yeah.
So it's like now I have to be and shift who I am and still be and remember who I actually am. And even though it may not look like what it was yesterday, it's still consistently growing towards what it is I want in our future or even my son's future.
Yeah. If you're the same person as you were when you were in your 20s and 30s and
right.
Every 20-year-old has a good bit of dickhead. Yeah. So if you're still that same person,
of course,
and you can't be carrying that shit for that long. Man.
No, it's exhausting. It's exhausting being a shithead. Like it really is. Yeah, it's really a matter of going through. And I don't know if you're into the 6 human needs, but that's a cool representation of how we kind of operate in life. Do you know much about
Go
it?
on.
Okay, so the 6 human needs, which is certainty,
Mm-hmm.
which is being able to be safe, knowing that you're safe. Certainty and uncertainty. Those are the first two. So certainty, knowing that like I'm safe, I can have some fun, and everything is like all good.
Mm-hmm.
Uncertainty is the variety of life. If
Okay.
you knew what everything was going to happen. With certainty, then life would be freaking boring. If you knew exactly what's going to happen every single day, it's not. You need some sort of variety. So that's where uncertainty
So that's
comes.
one of the things.
That's one of them. Yes.
Certainty and uncertainty.
So no. Sorry, that's two. So
Okay.
certainty is one, and then uncertainty is the other.
Okay.
The third one is love and connection. That's one. That's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Love and connection. So love, if you don't have love, people settle for connection. It can work either way. You can get from both, but usually we want love. But connection works just as well. Significance is the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
And significance is just being, uniquely yourself. Like what is, the bracelet you have on looks like really cool. There's like neutral ways, there's piercings or there's negative ways of using it, like putting you down, because I need to make sure I'm significant in this, there's negative, positive, and neutral ways of being all of these,
Mm-hmm.
right? And out of these three, or let's say the fourth one is growth, being able to grow in whatever it is you're doing. There's negative, positive, and neutral ways of doing all of them. And there's usually two that are driving the car. Like, we all know it's all important, but two of them usually stand out the most in our personalities. The last two are a spiritual thing, which is contribution, which is, being able to, give for more than yourself, contributing to the world. I'm sorry. Growth is the fifth growth is the other one. So then
Yeah.
I'm missing one more.
No, you got them.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
So is that 6
certainty, uncertainty, connection,
Yep.
growth, and then there was what was the thing you were saying about like your
Significance.
Significance.
now? Yep.
And then that last one that you just said.
Is So yeah, that's right. So the last two, growth and contribution.
Contribution,
So if you're not growing, you're dying. And that's the same thing as like we're growing together or we're growing apart. All of that, we all have the growth. Now, if we put this into, for example, a video game aspect, video games fill in about if they fill in about 3 or 4 of those needs. So growth being, you're growing in the game, you're actually getting better at it. The connection, you're talking online and you're playing with your friends, that. Significance, oh, I play this game. Do you play this game? Oh yeah, that all of these, that can become something addictive, right? So if anything uses 3 or 4 of them, it becomes an addiction.
Really?
Yeah, out of the 6 human needs. So like
It becomes an addiction?
it can become an addiction,
Right.
right? So if you are using it to fill in these human needs, you will stay on it more than if you had it in other ways. There's negative, positive. So I say video games can be a positive way of it if you're using it in small increments, but if it's using your whole day, you've grown into the negative aspect of it.
I think the negative, the addiction would be when you're deprived of it, then there's a sense of absence, right?
But wouldn't you think that addiction is like going more than, say, if you're doing it for 8 hours of the day,
yeah.
it's not beneficial to your health and your well-being.
I don't think that you necessarily have to do everything that's beneficial for your health and well-being.
Yeah, but if you're doing it past like I'm not saying don't play video games.
Yeah.
I'm saying do it within moderation so that it fills up a bit and then do something else, right? That helps contribute to the world or growth with someone else or connect with other people, that kind of thing. But if you use the one thing, another example, drugs or even sometimes training can be a negative way. If you're training more than anything else, it's an addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just more the dependence on it. It's not so much like if you were training more than the average person, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, I'm saying I'm not saying that either. I'm saying when it's past a point of it helping you,
Yeah.
that's where the addiction comes in.
Okay.
You know, we can even say drug users. Some people who can function using some drugs, this may not be a huge difference in their personality if you see that they've taken a little bit here or they smoke a little bit of weed or something. But if they're doing it excessively past the point of being able to get anything done in the day, you would say that's an addiction, or that's some sort of hindrance to your purpose or your calling.
Yeah, probably more hindrance. Probably more hindrance than anything.
Then you wouldn't think it's an addiction?
I think I don't know. Like, I think that the addiction needs to have like an absence. The absence of it, then the absence of it elicits something negative, right? Not the act of it itself, right? Like, I think that, like,
so as long as they have it, it's not an addiction.
No, it is. But I'm saying that, like, if it was to be removed, then like, let's just say, like, if there is some sort of like physiological or an emotional attachment to it that requires it being there, that's the addiction. So even when you're in it, if there is that attachment, then there is the addiction. I don't think that, like, I don't want to. I wouldn't be in any position to say that you can't play video games for 8 hours. I fucking wouldn't do it. You know, someone that's training 8 hours a day. Again, like, I don't want to say it's an addiction, but if you skip a day and you're getting really fucking antsy, then it's probably an addiction.
Oh, okay. So you're saying once it's taken away, then it would be.
If it was to be taken away. Not saying that, you know, because you can still be a smoker and not have it being taken away and still be addicted to it, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, there is a physiological and an emotional attachment to the act of smoking, not just the chemicals in it, but just the ritual of it as well, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And yeah, that is, but like... but no, I do hear your point. Like, there are a lot of things that fulfill, you know, at least a couple of those. What would you call it? The six what?
The 6 human needs. I would have said I would have butchered it, but I've since I've heard it, I've been like listening to that, and I'm just thinking it makes so much sense. And then I try to put it on myself. Like, what are the things that I do that could potentially be addictive, and people can, you know, work could be even addictive, you know, you know, if you're doing these things and it fills up a lot of these needs, you could be attached to that specific thing. You know, one example of a dad who hated being at home, what you say, you remove the actual thing, but he loves being at work.
Yeah.
He's irritated at home, but he loves his work because everyone needs him. He's very significant. He's growing the business. He's connecting with people. It's like he's got variety where he gets to make and choose. He doesn't know what's going to happen next, but he's got certainty that he's got a job and he's working his way through the business, right? And that's filling up his cup. But if it's not filling up his cup at home, then he wants to be at work more than he wants to be at home.
Yeah.
So the idea is to try and I say to kids all the time, like, I don't want you to do drugs, right? Obviously, no one wants you to do drugs. But if you're going to be introduced to these and people want you to do it, at least check in with yourself. Do I have connection with my family? Is these a reason why I need to do this for any reason other than like I'm being lonely or I'm trying to follow these guys for some reason? Like, if you can sense, or I guess the 6 human needs make it really simple for me to understand why I choose the things that I do. Like, if I were to put it on myself, for example, I've been working on trying to stop myself from drinking so much on the weekends. On the weekends, I tend to drink more than, I mean, I guess if you talk to an Australian, they probably wouldn't think I drink that much. But for me, I think I drink too much on the weekends. And what void am I trying to fill, or what am I trying to avoid facing when I am doing that? Right. So I've been doing other things like the fasting and saunas and, you know, trying to, you know, limit my drinking during the weekends. And then I just recently started taking saffron and lemon balm after doing more research, saying that this actually helps with people who are severely ADHD and they can't get their brain to relax.
How do you take it?
Just a pill. It's just a pill. You can get it at a Chemist Warehouse and all that. It's literally a spice.
Oh, yeah.
And after doing, like, my wife had mentioned it, and she's like, I'll go get you some, just try it out. But after doing some research on it and listening to, like, Diaries of a CEO, they had, like, other health doctors coming on there, and he goes, this is a game changer for anyone who suffers from ADHD or needs a mood balancer. It's good. And ever since I've had that, it really did lock in all of that, like, felt like more calm and relaxed, and my brain seems a lot more straight and narrow, and I haven't been needing alcohol for the last, it's probably been a good 2 months now.
Yeah, it was probably just a lot of the associations, man. Rather
Yeah.
than just the drinking, it was just more like, I'm going to get home, have a drink.
It was a habit. It was a habit. I've been doing it since I was like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
Every weekend we would just get around and drink, and like it just became a ritual.
Yeah.
Right. And a habit and an addiction. And I was like, I need to figure out how to break this, because what you said, I would go, all right, this weekend, not drinking at all. And I just sat there and I'd be like, and I just kept getting irritated and frustrated. And now I'm like, I don't want to be this mopey, moody guy in front of my son and my wife. Like, that's not good either.
Because then they're going to be like, just have a drink.
Yeah. At this point, there's like, you might as well just drink. But like, I knew that it wasn't good for me. And I was like trying to find, so I just kept, instead of me saying I've tried everything, I just kept trying other stuff. And the saffron's been.
Substitute it.
Yeah. So yeah, substitute it. But like, at least I could substitute it for positive, impactful things like the sauna, like training, like fasting, and even the saffron has just really helped. It's all of it. Like, realistically, it's just all of trying it. And I had to reanalyze what it is that is making me feel that way. And I think if we can go to the teenagers now and get them to think like that before they get attached to the stuff, it's it's easier to prevent it than it is to cure it.
Yeah, equip them with the tools to be able to self-analyze.
That's right. I got to really get the 6 human needs down packed a bit more, because I thought it was a simple way of understanding like the choices you make. And sometimes people don't know why they spend more time at work than they do at home. And sometimes with that little simple, I mean, who knows? It may not be everyone's cup of tea, that kind of analogy. But for me, it's really helped, and I hope it could help other people too.
There's a lot to think about in that one, man. I think that, that's just like I was saying, that once you start putting together the bits and pieces, the tools really, and just to be able to hold a mirror up to these kids, I think that's what they need. They just need just that guidance and the ability and the know-how to figure it out themselves, right? Like, because you're just winging it, and there's so many opportunities for shit to go south.
That's right.
So what's next, man? What's next with Moment of Truth?
Well, I am currently looking for funding.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the next move, because as much as it was fun doing it independently, the tickets were very expensive because I had to cover costs, and it made it very difficult to sell. And of course, I want it to be accessible. It wasn't really accessible for most of the kids anyway, and a lot of parents that weren't willing to pay that much. It was really hard because I had, with a band and a venue and food and all of that, it really adds up.
Yeah.
So I think funding. Otherwise, I will save up and just run another one. And hopefully the government might get on board and see the potential it has, and put something towards it. But for now, I'll just keep plodding along with it. I mean, I've got music that I'm holding out on just because I don't feel like it's the right time yet. But I've got music that I really want to release. But I'll wait for that now. I think the Moment of Truth is a lot more fulfilling in that cup aspect, and like it's filling my cup a lot more.
Do you have a date, venue, location?
No,
at least?
well, I worked with Artful Yoga Studio, which was a gallery, which was just an art gallery. So again, another aspect is writing, and working out in an art gallery was a cool idea I wanted to do. But I've worked with them, and I don't know. I'm not sure where I want to do another venue, or if we do it there again. But I would love to expand it where we can fit a little bit more kids. Just to, now that I've done it the first time, I wanted to keep it really exclusive, and now I think I can maybe do a little bit more. I should be able to manage a few more kids, because realistically, I want to give them my one-on-one time. And if this works out, then I can try and get one maybe even do it once a school holidays or twice a
Yeah.
school holidays. And who knows, if it does well, I'll try and do it in between, because I know they've got 100 things they're doing during their school terms. And if they're studying and all that, I was trying to do it around the holidays to
Holidays
kind of
is the
give
best
it. So start it once a holiday, once a term. I want to see if I can, like, now that I did it this term, I want to see if I can do it first term, second term, third term, and fourth term next year.
That's awesome, dude. I really like the idea of it. And I think that it is going to be something that's really going to contribute to society and culture, especially, obviously, amongst the youth.
Yeah.
Let me know if I can be involved in any way. I think that, like, I'd love to be able to help out. And I think that there will be a lot of people that I know that would like to be able to help out and be part of this as well. A lot of creative people.
It would be kind of cool, right? If we set something like this up, and as the kids come in, they
Chat with
sit
the
down
kids?
for you for like 5-10 minutes.
That'd be cool.
And I mean, you could even do it before and after,
Yeah.
and just get an aspect of where their mind is at before and after. I don't know. That was just an idea. As soon as you said I was like, yeah, let's set this up in this room here, and then we rotate them through a whole set of things. Could be a thing.
Well, let's chat, man.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, dude, thanks for coming on, man. This has been a riveting conversation. Lots of fun, man.
I'm so glad. Thank you for holding space for me and inviting me over. I'd love to do this again.